And now I would like to switch to our next guest, Frederik Wewetzer. He's the project coordinator from HZwo, H2 translated. And he is informing us about pushing hydrogen projects in Saxony and another perspective and beyond. Thank you for being part of our event today.
Well, yes, thanks for having me. I really hope you can see my screen. Perfect. Well, yes, you already mentioned a little bit of dilemma that I'm in because our technology/industrial cluster is called HZwo, which is a relation to the area in Germany where we are from Saxony. So that's the local way of saying H2. But since we grew out of Saxony and are now a European cluster active on European stage, it often gets a little bit difficult with this like pronunciation, but I think we will get along this very well. What I want to show you is what we are doing and why it could be worth thinking about contacting me and joining our activities, maybe as an active member or just in some projects that we are doing. The slide that you are seeing now shouldn't be anything new. We have heard from my fellow cluster partners from all over Saxony what clusters are doing. We are no different here. We are as well providing public relation training, technology transfer, and project engineering. Also, of course, networking events and conferences. This means on the one hand that we organize smaller, like regular tables for our members to get into personal contact, but also big conferences. For example, this year in October, we held the Clean Hydrogen Convention in Dresden together with the colleagues from Energy Saxony. And also we offer joint booths on big trade fairs like the Hannover Messe or the HZwo in Stuttgart with like discount opportunities for our members to partner up in the joint booth and to create a bigger visibility for our members. My colleague Francis already mentioned it somehow, and I want to dive into this just really quickly. Our consulting services, so to say, got, I would say, like ennobled maybe, because together with Energy Saxony, we got an assignment by both the Saxon State Ministry of Energy, Climate Protection, Environment and Agriculture and the Saxon State Ministry of Economic Affairs, Labor and Transport to fulfill the role of the Saxon Competence Center for Hydrogen. Francis already mentioned the stuff that we are doing here, but it is, as I already said, kind of an ennobling for us that our good work that we did for our industrial and our research partners is now somehow also transferred to the political way of things. And we are working here in this triangle in between politics, research and industry to do our best to push hydrogen technologies in Saxony and beyond. Talking about Saxony and beyond, this is a map of our current cluster members. I think you can clearly see where our like core area is in Southwest Saxony with a lot of, so to say, automotive suppliers who are all facing basically the same difficulties of the transition from getting their products heavily depending on the internal combustion engine to greener and cleaner technologies. So we were supporting them in our first phase. When the cluster started in 2018, we had only 7 members. Now in 2023, we are counting around 120. And not only in Saxony, but all over Germany, across Europe, and even beyond. I just got informed the other day that we welcomed our first Australian member in the cluster. So we take this as a really nice feedback of our work being honored by our members. But what exactly is our work? I have provided you with this slide. Those are our, so to say, 5 core activities that we are doing. One you already heard of by, again, my colleague Francis Zedler about the Wasserstoffland Sachsen Innovation Cluster, where we work hardly on creating projects and being like the nucleus for consortia to form, to connect research and also industry to push the hydrogen technology. And some of those projects even got into some functional platforms, which I will dive into a little bit later. So we just keep this here for a second. We also got another assignment by the the German Federal Ministry of Economics, the Chance Transformation Hub, which we are doing together with partners in North Rhine-Westphalia. So it's like an east-west axis, because the companies over there, they have a pretty strong automotive supplier landscape there as well. And we are trying to create synergies and to transfer knowledge from the universities to the industry to help them to develop new products and to secure their workspaces in their respective areas. The next one, the National Hydrogen Center, is one I will dive into just a little bit later. And we are also like working, of course, pretty hard for our own region around Chemnitz, where I'm sitting right now and where our like home base is. We successfully took part in the high expert competition held by the Federal Ministry of Transport. So we developed like a mobility-driven concept for the hydrogen use in our area, which we are hopefully will be able to develop further in the next years. But maybe for the audience here, it is more interesting to get to know some of the stuff that you can like actually touch when you get in touch with us. So one that we are pretty proud of is the so-called OSS, the open source stack, which we created based on some funding projects you can see down there. And the idea is that for a lot of our members, especially the automotive suppliers, it is really hard to get into the development of products around the fuel cell stack. I know this from my personal experience back when I was still working in the automotive industry. We wanted to get into the clamping system, but it was really hard for us to even get an idea of which forces do we need to adapt, and which building room will we have, and what kind of material is there useful to adapt there. And so we were really happy that the HZwo e.V. provided us with, as a member, with this, so to say, small testing fuel cell testbed. So you can get an idea of how the system works. You can you can develop your products around this one, and then you can even test them at the physical model of the stack. So you can get an idea of if your work that you've put in the development is actually working out. Right now, the OSS 50, so to say, has a 50 square meter active area, but the colleagues here at the Technical University in Chemnitz, they are planning to scale it up to even 150 square centimeters of active area. And then of course to go even bigger. So let's say the long-term goal is to be able to create a fuel cell stack open to our members with 100 kilowatts of power output, which we then want to implement in another open source project that is taking place around our cluster, the OSCAR, so the open source car, which already, as you can see down on the picture, exists in a pretty rudimentary form, so to say, but it works, it drives. We take it to a lot of trade fairs and show it around, and interest is always great in this product. And again, this is a great test platform for the integration of innovative components, subsystems, or even for a complete system development, because of course to our members, we get them full access to the CID control data, and of course to the real vehicle, which you can see on the picture here. So you can see we are pretty strong on this, like transfer actions from getting knowledge from universities to the industry, which is also why we took part in another competition held by the Federal Ministry of Transport, which is also going to fund this Hydrogen Innovation Center. There are going to be 4 of those all over Germany, and one is going to be built in Chemnitz. Hopefully we'll be able to start the actually like building process within the next year. And you can see we are planning a lot of laboratory spaces here also, and of course an academy. for training the people working with these systems, but also like a big workshop, and of course test beds up to 400 kilowatts to give companies the opportunity to test their products, their stacks, whatever they want to bring over to us in a realistic environment. And here our open source stack is going to take a really important role in this project, because we want to build our test stand or our test bed, so to say, around a virtual model created by the input data of different fuel cell stacks. One will be, of course, the open source stack, but also from commercial stacks. So you as a company will be able to test your small component or small subsystem, whatever it is, maybe a valve or a spring, on this digital twin of an actual fuel cell system. And we will be able to give you a certificate of that your product has passed this digital twin test. So you can maybe approach the next level tier supplier or whatever and show them that your developed product has a high chance of working in the real world out there, in the real system. So just to quickly summarize maybe what this center is going to be about. Of course, testing is going to be a huge part, but also we want to take the results out of these testings and of course the R&D results into a lot of RCS processes that are going on, and where we think there is still a lot of potential, and where it is important to always kind of keep one eye to the street to make sure that all those RCS stuff that is coming up to us as the hydrogen community are also like usable in the real world out there. Of course, we're gonna have a big focus on academy, and we're also already in contact with different partners to make sure that not only the, so to say, white collar jobs are given a space here, but also like the actual work that it has to be done, like repairing systems or like switching parts in that area. Of course, when you build such a big center, networking is going to be a huge part of it. Then that's why we are a network. So that's what we're going to do. And also we're going to prevent some space for trainings, and also, of course, as a nucleus for other projects developing from there. And nucleus is the keyword for the general idea that we have with this Hydrogen Innovation and Technology Center, because it's going to be the nucleus for the general H2 campus here in Chemnitz. You can see it on the slide right now, the HIC in the center. And we are planning to, because once the center will have like a hydrogen supply, it will be like a great area for companies to settle around. So we already like preserved spaces here for companies close to the university campus, with the central hydrogen grid and close to those central campus facilities. We will, I think, create a really strong area to push the hydrogen technology, not only in Chemnitz, not only in Saxony, not only in Germany, but because of our close relationship with especially the Czech Republic and Poland, and our strong cluster in, so to say, all over Europe, even there and beyond. So that was just a really quick introduction of what we are doing here in Chemnitz at the HZwo. As I already heard, we are a little bit beyond time, so feel free to contact me for any further questions or possibilities to work together, whether it will be just on a trade fair or on an actual project. I'll be really happy to get in touch with you. And again, thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Wewetzer, for your perspective from Chemnitz, and also about the, well, large scale options for working with hydrogen.